I'd like to share with you my favorite book, The Lizard of Oz, which I self-published 46 years ago. I'm going to read to you the new, improved, and expanded edition, which I just finished writing and which is not in print. I'll make a separate video for each chapter. Chapter 13, The Lowest Court. The next morning they were wakened by a loud voice. "Hear ye! Hear ye! Order in the court!" A tall man in a black suit marched by, pounding on the ground with a staff and repeating these commands. "Gosh," said Donnie, "the judges are coming." Mark asked, "Who's that doing the talking?" "That must be the quirk," said Donnie. "The what?" "The quirk of the court. Courts have lots of quirks to keep records and make announcements." "No," said Miss Shelby. "Don't be silly, Donnie. You mean clerk, not quirk. Quirk is a silly mistake." Hear ye, announced the quirk. "The lowest court is in session, plus, equals, and minus presiding." 3 men followed him. They were all bald, with gray, curly beards, and they were all wearing black robes, each with a white symbol on the front, plus, equals, and minus. "Mr. Minus," called Dunny. "Mr. Minus." "Quiet in the court," ordered the quirk. "That's all right, quirk," said Mr. Minus. "Let the children come forward, and the grown-ups too." "Is this where the good guys get goodies and the bad guys get punished?" asked Donnie. "Not exactly, son, but we do try to right the wrongs of the world." "I'm sure this is all very educational, sir," said Miss Osborne, "but we're lost and trying to find our way home." "How far is this home of yours from here?" Miss Shelby explained. "We were on a field trip and took a wrong turn and fell down a pothole, then fell up another pothole. We've been in Pothead Land and Egghead Land, in the library, in the underworld. We met a witch flying on a broomstick with a bucket for a seat, and Humpty Dumpty and his little blue wallflower he fell for, and a prince who turned into a frog. We met Sir Francis Bacon and Sir Real and Mr. Marx. We crossed a big river on a raft and met famous authors who've been dead a long time. Then we were locked in a mushroom and fell into the river. We've only been gone for a day, but we've learned a lot." "Let's start at the beginning," the judge pursued. "Why did you leave your home in the first place?" Miss Shelby explained. "We were trying to get to Oz and to Ohm to find the Lizard of Oz and save the world from disenchantment." "Yes, indeed, you are trying. I might have thought as much. That's how people get here, by trying." Eugene said, "Sometimes Miss Shelby says we kids are trying." "Yes, indeed, I'm sure you all have helped. Not many cases reach this lowest court of all." Please, Miss Osborne interrupted. "Doesn't anyone here speak plain English? I just want to go home." "And we just want to go get home," added the redcoat sergeant. Miss Shelby disagreed. "No, Miss Osborne, there's no stopping now. We can't turn back. Not after coming this far. I don't know where we are, but from what we've learned so far, the world is far more complicated and interesting than I ever imagined, and I sense that it's important that we get to Oz and to Ohm, like Mr. Sherman said." "That's the spirit, young lady," added Judge Minus. "Keep trying." "But we keep making mistakes," objected Miss Osborne. "Trial and error," answered Judge Minus. "That's how we learn." "Now, don't tell me there's someone named Mr. who's going to come marching in," moaned Miss Osborne. "Yes, I can imagine," suggested Miss Shelby with a laugh. "Earl Flynn will come flying by on a rope with a sword in his hand. That's the way things happen here, isn't it? I just love these crazy lands." "No, ladies," Mr. Minus corrected them. "There is no Mr. This is not a place of punishment. We are teachers like you. Trial and error is a way of learning." Miss Shelby added. "We all learn from our mistakes," Mr. Minus corrected her. "More or less. That's true for most of us. For us, every mistake is a lesson. But there are people who keep making the same mistake over and over. Here comes one now, Mr. Sisyphus. He works 8 hours a day pushing that rock up a hill. Then at 5 o'clock he lets go and heads home, and the rock rolls back down. Mr. Sisyphus was tall, with arm muscles bulging from a short-sleeve T-shirt. In contrast, his bare and battered feet were small and dainty. "Ah, poor Mr. Sisyphus," said Miss Shelby. I'd hardly call him poor, miss, said Mr. Midas. He gets a fair wage for what he does. It's not that bad, admitted Mr. Sisyphus. I did the same sort of thing for a living up topside before I croaked. Only I didn't get paid as much for it, and the work was harder. This job's simple. All I got to do is roll the rock. No deadlines, no pressure. Plenty of guys who love to have this job. Sure, I work up a sweat, but it's good exercise, and there are no chemicals to poison me. It's a lot better than working topside in the plant. Plant? Asked Gino. Did you work in the mushroom? No, but that sounds neat. A real living plant? I should check that out. Hey, said Cindy, there's a big flat screen TV over here. Everybody went running toward the television. Yes, explained Judge Midas. This lady spends her whole day watching television. How do you do? Said a middle-aged woman with hair in curlers. My name is Mrs. Tantalus. Everyone calls me Aunt Tant. Are the shows that good? Asked Cindy, wide-eyed. No, she admitted. It's not the shows I like to watch. It's the commercials. The things they have to sell are so tantalizing I can't afford them. So I just sit here imagining what I'd buy if I had the money. That sounds awful, said Miss Shelby. How could the judges be so cruel as to make you do that? Make me? You gotta be kidding, dearie. My husband bought this set for me, my dear departed husband. Husband? Yes, oh, watch your step there, children, she warned. There's a big hole there. Don't fall in or you won't be able to get out. That's my husband down there. He fell in getting me this big flat screen TV. Wasn't that sweet of him? She threw him a kiss. That's terrible, said Miss Shelby, staring down into the darkness. Gosh, that's deeper than the pothole, said Donnie. You think that's bad, said Aunt Tan. You should have seen the hole we were in back home. But it seems such a waste, insisted Miss Shelby. Why spend your life, your death like this? Why do this when right over there are beautiful fields of flowers? What's that music? Asked Linda C. Just birds singing, said Miss Shelby. Those are no ordinary birds, said Judge Midas. That's the hymn to joy they're singing. Those are the easy one fields. Hey, said Donnie, there's Achilles the heel. You mean the guy with the spear? Asked Kathy, the one walking hand in hand with a beautiful lady? Yes, said the judge, that's Achilles the heel and Helen Troy. When will they stop that infernal music? Asked Achilles. Oh, don't be silly, love, said Miss Troy. That music is simply divine. She pushed back her long blonde hair with a dramatic stroke. She looked like she was performing in a shampoo commercial. Well, this is somebody else's idea of paradise, not mine. How are things in the world? He asked the newcomers. Wars and wars and more wars, answered Mr. Newman, remembering what he'd heard in the library. Sounds wonderful, said Achilles. Tell me all about it. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. Please watch the rest of the story. I'm making a separate video for each of the 27 chapters. Feedback welcome. My name again is Richard Seltzer, as in Alka-Seltzer. My email is seltzerbooks.com. All Things That Matter Press recently published 3 other novels of mine, Parallel Lives, Beyond the Fourth Door, and Nevermind. You can find those all at Amazon as paperbacks and as ebooks. They can be read in any order. They're independent stories with overlapping theme and styles. Each presents a different view of reality, a different way of trying to make sense of the